Okay, this is for Algebra 2, and this is for dividing rational expressions. It's going to be very similar to what we did yesterday with multiplying, except that you've got to remember the rule you learned in junior high for multiplying or for dividing fractions, and it was leave, change, flip. So you leave the first fraction alone, you change the division to multiplication, and you flip the second one. So, for example, if you had 1/2 divided by 2/3, it would become 1/2 times 3/2. We left the first one, we changed the division sign, and we flipped the second one. Then it's just multiplication, which is what we did yesterday. So you want to do your leave, change, flip. You want to simplify all expressions or factor, and then you want to cancel where you can. Remember that to cancel, you've got to have one in the top, one in the bottom. They can be at a diagonal or straight up and down. They just cannot be horizontal. Remember, if you have parentheses around it, it's all or nothing. You cannot cancel part of it. So factoring, if you only have two terms, remember to look for a difference of squares or a greatest common factor. Let's look at number 1. Leave, change, flip. So 5x over 3y squared stays. Becomes times, and then we flip, and we have 21y to the 5th over 10x to the 3rd. Now you're ready to cancel. 5 and the 10, the 3 and the 21. You have an x on top, so this x to the 3rd becomes x squared. You have a y squared on the bottom, so this y to the 5th becomes y to the 3rd. So looking at what's left on top, we have a 7y to the 3rd. Looking at what's left on the bottom, we have a 2x squared. That's your answer. Very similar to what we did yesterday. You're going to have to leave, change, flip. So everything's already simplified. So what I would do is just bring this x minus 3 and this x plus 9. I would mark it out so I didn't try to use it. Bring this x minus 5 and this x plus 7. Mark it out so you don't try to use it. Ready to cancel. X plus 1, there's nothing. X minus 5 goes away. X minus 3 goes away. X plus 9, there's nothing. So now you just take what's left and you write it down. You don't have to actually distribute or multiply or anything. I have an x plus 1 and an x plus 9 left on top. I have an x plus 2 and an x plus 7 left on bottom. So when you don't have the parentheses, I recommend just rewriting the whole thing. 6a to the 3rd c squared over 5b squared times 25a goes on top and 3c squared goes on bottom. So your 5 and your 25, your 3 and your 6. There are no a's on the bottom. Your c squared goes away. Okay, so 2 times 5 is 10 on the top. We have an a to the 3rd and an a, so that becomes a to the 4th on top. On the bottom, we have a b squared. That's your answer. If you can, I would go ahead and pull things out as I moved. My x plus 3 goes to the bottom. The 3x minus 15 is going to go to the top, but go ahead and see if you can factor it. They both divide by a 3, and it leaves you x minus 5. Now you're ready to cancel. Oh, you're not, are you? 3x plus 6, you can pull out a 3. Leaves you an x plus 2. 2x minus 10, pull out a 2. And it leaves you an x minus 5. Now you're ready to cancel. Looks like the x minus 5 will go away. That's all I'm seeing. Go ahead and multiply the 3 times the 3, and you have a 9 and an x plus 2 on top. You have a 2 and an x plus 3 on the bottom. Always go back and double check when you write your answer and make sure there's not something you missed. Make sure there's nothing that'll still cancel. Okay, this looks scary, but it's no big deal. We know that a fraction means to divide. So you're going to take this middle part, and that's your, quote, division. So it becomes x minus 3 over x plus 4. That was your first. Change to multiplication, and you flip this bottom part. So x minus 2 is on top, x plus 4 is on bottom. So now you look and see if you can cancel anything. Think of all of these as having parentheses around them. The only thing that's the same is your x plus 4, but they're both on bottom, so they can't cancel. So your answer is x minus 3 times x minus 2 all over x plus 4 times x plus 4. You just write it off, and that's legal. I would go ahead and factor, if I could, while I'm splitting it up and rewriting it. X squared minus 9 becomes x minus 3, and x plus 3. It's over 4 times, flip the bottom so the 8 goes to the top, and 3 minus x. Ready to cancel. Your 4 goes away, your 8 becomes a 2. X minus 3 and 3 minus x are complete opposites, so if I put that negative out there, it goes away. So I have a negative, a 2, and an x plus 3 on top. There's nothing on the bottom. That's your answer.
Okay, looking at the back, you're going to want to factor the top left. This is going to become x plus 2 and x plus 8. If you need to come over here and do the factors of 16 and figure out your sign rules, that's fine. If you can do it in your head, that's fine too. On the bottom, x squared plus 6x plus 8 is going to become x plus 2 and x plus 4. We're going to change to multiplication, and we're going to flip the other fraction. And it becomes x plus 4 over 1. So your x plus 2 cancel, your x plus 4 cancels, and it leaves you x plus 8 for your answer. Seven is fine. 8r minus 40, you can pull out an 8, becomes r minus 5. Change to multiplication. 8r minus 40 comes to the top. You can pull out an 8, leaves you r minus 5 over 1. Your 8 cancels, your r minus 5 cancels, you're left with 7 over 1, or 7. Your 8 is fine. We have a 4 and an n in common, and it leaves us n minus 4. Change to multiplication. Becomes n minus 4 over 1. The n minus 4 cancels. The 4 and the 8 cancel and leave you 2 up high. So you have a 2 on top and you have an n on the bottom. You need to do an exclude for this one. N cannot be 0. B squared minus 2b minus 15. Signs are different. The larger is negative, so it's b minus and b plus. Factors of 15 that when I subtract give me 2 are going to be 5 and 3. Over 8 and 20 will both divide by 4, leaves you 2b plus 5. Change to multiplication. 4b plus 10 comes up, they both divide by 2, leaves you 2b plus 5, and you have a 2 on the bottom. So your 2b plus 5 will cancel, your 2 will cancel, and it leaves you b minus 5 and b plus 3 on top, all over 4 on the bottom. It's a constant in the bottom, so you do not have an exclude. 16 and 56 both divide by 4, and so we'll pull a 4 out, and it gives me 4x minus 14, which means that they both, there must have been something bigger. If I'll look again, they both divide by 8. So I'm going to redo this. I'm going to pull an 8 out, and it leaves me 2x minus 7 all over 8. Change to multiplication. 4 goes to the top. 8 and 28 will both divide by 4. Leaves me 2x minus 7. The 4's will cancel. The 8's will cancel. And the 2x minus 7 will cancel. Is it legal for everything to cancel? Sure. Your answer, though, is 1. Last one, 6 and 27 will both divide by 3. Leaves me 2p plus 9 over, we have a p and an 18 in common, and it leaves me p plus 2. Change to multiplication. 2p plus 4 comes to the top, and I'm going to pull a 2 out, leaves me p plus 2. 16 and 72 will both divide by what? 4? Leaves you 4p plus 18. I obviously didn't get it because they both still divide by 2, so I'm actually going to pull an 8 out, and it's going to leave me 2p plus 9. Okay, so forget that. It's possible that you're going to factor it wrong and have to redo it. No big deal. 2p plus 9 are going to cancel. P plus 2 is going to cancel. 2 will go into the 8 4 times. 3 will go into the 18 6 times. So if you look at the top, there is nothing left, so you put a 1 up high. We have a 6, a p, and a 4. So that becomes 24p on the bottom. You do have an exclude. P cannot be 0. I believe that's the last one on your notes, so you're ready to go to your assignment. Call me over or come find me if you have questions.